When I was in high school, I never really had any interactions with drugs. None of my friends did drugs. No one really drank, and it wasn't my thing. I never really got into it. I was playing Halo and such. When I came to New Paltz, I remember the people in my suite, they were like, hey, let's go out, find a party. They heard of a few things, some keggers, and, I figured, what the hell, it's college, you gotta go to a kegger, like some American Pie bullshit. So, I go out, and I'm having a few beers, and I only drank maybe once or twice before that, and I'm thinking, like, oh, so this is the experience, this is what it is. Okay, it's interesting, and, a few friends, they were, smoking a bowl. I'd never even seen marijuana at the time. And I was like, hey, mind if I get a little try of that? And I tried it, and, my parents and the DARE program and what a lot of, professionals would say, what I knew was that it was a scary, horrible thing. You'd feel stupid for days. I felt like I was silly, I was laughing, I was saying some stupid stuff, but it was, like, creative stuff. It was interesting. It wasn't anything, like, psychotic, or it was fun, it was innocent. And it kind of made me question what the general population's beliefs about drugs were, like what was true, what was false. So I kind of get into it, and I realized that there was almost a whole culture behind it, and the organizations and the involvement, it gets so in-depth, and it's crazy that there are so many people out there who view the war on drugs as a failure, and they view the way people view drugs as wrong and shocking, and they shouldn't be scary. They should be something that, people study and they're interested in it, and if someone decides to do it, it's not a big deal. Let them do it safely, So I started attending NORML, National Organization for the Reformation of Marijuana Laws. And I remember I seen some flyers, and I met a few guys tabling, and I was like, that's interesting, it sounds like the pot club. Yeah, why not? I go to it, and we would watch movies, we would have discussions about medical uses for drugs, and the different historical aspects of why people view them the way they do, and what's true and false. And I came to realize that a lot of the way people view drugs it's crazy, the stigmas behind it, and how much false information. Because people are so ignorant about the topics of drugs, they're hurting themselves. Our policies surrounding drugs are completely ridiculous. You have a drug user say they are hurting themselves, they aren't. It depends solely on the drug and the person. You find them, throw them in jail, tell them they have a problem, destroy their life. It's costly, they lose federal financial aid, they lose the ability to get a lot of jobs, and I got involved with SSDP because we would have discussions, and it was real people who just realized some really interesting things, and we talked about how to change them and how to educate people about how to be safe. We call that harm reduction. I spent a few years in SSDP and just met so many amazing people. We attended conferences, and we watched documentaries, we had special guest speakers. We've met people from all over the country, and a few people international at conferences. And this past year, I remember the current presidents, they were graduating, they moved on, and we had this little group called the High Council. It was a bunch of people who they were really involved above normal in the club, and they were interested, and they planned meetings. We were talking about the breakdown, and we were going to go from a co-presidency to an electoral board. Everybody picked a position, and the only one left was president. And so here I am, and it's been weird. I'm not gonna lie, it's been a weird time. You meet some interesting people, and it almost hurts me that I came on with the club having the stigma of being the drug club. Some members, have bad history, but a lot of them, they're good people. And they actually want to make a change, they want to make a difference, they're getting involved in activism, and they agree with what we have to say about how the images of drugs are just so backwards. And I'm just trying to unify a group of people to open up discussion and talk and discuss about drugs and drug issues, and branch out and educate people, and harm reduce. And I could say that I did that fairly well, and in the future I'll always be a strong supporter of SSDP. I love the cause, I love the people involved, and if I could help out the New Paltz chapter in some way, I'll always be here for them, and I wish them the best.